afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call this emergency meeting of the Board of Education to order here on January the 15th. At this time, Ms. Haynes, could you please do our roll call?
Chair Koch.
Here.
Vice Chair Pereza.
Here.
Dr. Sheila Williams.
Present.
Tommy Old.
Here.
Angelique Boland.
Here.
Valerie Booth.
Here.
And Sharon Warden is not here.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Haynes. At this time, would everyone please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Ms. Bogues, can you read our ethics awareness statement for us today, please?
Okay. Welcome to the January 15th, 2025 meeting of the Elizabeth City Pasquotank Board of Education. It is my duty to remind members of the board that it is your responsibility to avoid all conflicts of interest and potential conflicts of interest in accordance with Chapter 138A of North Carolina General Statutes. As public servants, it is your duty to continually monitor, evaluate, and manage your personal, financial, and professional affairs in such a way as to ensure the absence of conflicts or potential conflicts. Does any member know of any conflict of interest or potential conflict of interest with respect to any matter coming before the board today? Let the record reflect that no conflicts exist.
Thank you, Ms. Bogues. Now we're going to move on to the approval of today's agenda. I need to have a motion from the floor to approve.
I move to approve the agenda as presented. Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Dr. Williams, a second from Vice Chair Pereza to approve today's agenda. Do we have any discussion on that approval? If not, please signify a positive vote to approve today's agenda by a show of hands. Ms. Haynes, let the record reflect that that is unanimous and that Ms. Warden is absent today. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to turn things over now to Dr. Parker, who is going to talk about our reason for having this emergency meeting this afternoon.
Thank you, Chair Cobb, and let me say thank you to the board for coming out on such short notice, and I appreciate your willingness to jump out here and help us with this. I'm going to ask Ms. Wilma Jordan to come forward and give us an update. So Wilma is our new maintenance director, facilities and maintenance director, and she's been with us since late November. And I'll do a quick little shout out and highlight. So Wilma's joining us, having had a career in facility management, and most recently she oversaw right at a $500 million bond project for Durham Public Schools, and helped build some new schools, helped renovate some schools, that have had some generational age on them, as some of ours have. And so I was joking with Wilma the other day. I said, what's your thoughts going from a $400 million bond project to, working on some of these heating and water issues? And Wilma said, it's the same thing everywhere you go. So she jumped right in. But the new year we've had, we've been very responsive on some facilities things here. And so I just want to, Wilma, thank you and the team for being responsive. Wilma and her team are getting up. They're monitoring temperatures in buildings 24/7. And we can do that electronically for the majority of our schools. Temperature drops, we're troubleshooting, but her and TJ and Barry, our HVAC crew, are getting up every morning at about 4:30. And for the schools we can't electronically monitor, they're actually going to the school to see if the temperature is holding. And times we've had issues, we've immediately initiated repair at 5 o'clock in the morning. So that protocol Wilma brought to us, and in part has allowed us to essentially almost have no heat issues. But we're here today because of heat issues that goes beyond what we can repair anymore. So welcome, Wilma, and if you give us an update of Pasquotank, what's the issue, what brought us here, and talk about the timeline for what you're looking like for repair.
So in the last couple of days, the team has, during a visit at the school, determined that there's a crack in the board. Immediately had a contractor to come out, which is Hopper Mechanical Solutions. They do some services for us at a number of our schools to assess exactly what was happening. And the crack is on the bottom of the boiler. As long as we're monitoring the water amount that's in there, we're presently keeping the school at a comfortable temperature, but in the last day, the crack has been getting bigger. We're having to add more water just to make sure that the vessel operates at a normal capacity, trying to keep our students comfortable, especially during this testing for the next couple of days. So today, we determined that that crack is getting bigger. We're losing more water more frequently, so we're at a critical point. This morning, first thing, the contractor reached back out to give us the price, which we'll present to you. Have we?
We
We've
got
already
quoted,
gotten
yes.
that out to you electronically. And we've located, this morning there were two, one in Charlotte, one in Greensboro. We have a 6-hour window that they are holding that boiler for us, but if we don't get a PO out to them shortly, they will sell it to the next person. And it's not necessarily that it's someone who needs a boiler for, a repair or installation. They're coming from contractors who are doing projects. So that's where the first one went today earlier. And as soon as we get approval, we can issue that PO and we will have a truck en route to Greensboro to pick it up from the manufacturer. So currently, we do have a alternate plan if everything goes south to move the students for testing tomorrow to 2 other schools. We're just trying to be proactive in the event that it doesn't go well. The installation will start immediately Friday. They'll work through the weekend to have the heat back on by Wednesday of next week. So what you will see reflected in the pricing that we've secured is the weekend and overtime hours for this installation. But we know we have cold weather coming potentially next Wednesday, but it's supposed to warm up this weekend, which has been a win-win for us up until this point. So that's where we are currently.
Just, I guess to add to that, we're out Monday for MLK Day, and then aren't we out Tuesday and Wednesday for work days? So if it had to happen, I guess we're blessed with those 3 days of not having students in the building.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's the 2 main reasons why we asked the board to come under these circumstances is, one, we want to secure this last remaining boiler based on supply chain issues that could be an issue. And then if we can secure that, pending the board's approval, we can initiate repairs, and the goal is to have heat restored by the time the students come back into the building, which would be Thursday of next week.
If we miss securing this boiler, it's a 2-month manufacturing time.
So with that being said, does anyone have any questions for Ms. Jordan, for Dr. Parker, for Ms. Tilley, or Ms. Haynes, since we have everybody here?
I think you said that this company just had worked with a number of schools, or you mean within our district or just within its?
They're doing services and maintenance
Now,
for us
that was
on an
my
on-call
question.
basis.
Right. Okay, so with that being said, then the next step in our process would be a motion to approve the purchase of this boiler. Do I have a motion from the floor?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Mr. Old and Ms. Bogues will second. Any further discussion? Okay, if not, please show of hands for a positive vote of yes to approve. Let the record reflect that is unanimous for those present. And therefore we have approved it. That is the business we have for today's meeting. I need a motion to adjourn.
Did we, record, did we say how much it was in the contract?
No.
The record is linked, we can say that because the total cost, the quote is linked on the public agenda, so it's available to the public at cost. But the total cost with tax, will be $150,968.50. And that's available to the public on the public agenda that's linked here. And that includes the tax with the overtime, the boiler, the whole out of cost, out of pocket, everything.
Okay, good question. All right, so, we need a motion to adjourn.
I vote to adjourn.
Dr. Williams has put our our motion forward. Do I have a second? Okay, Ms. Boland has seconded. Any further discussion? If not, can we please see a positive vote with a show of hands? Let the record reflect that that is a unanimous. We are adjourned.